a fascinating part of the times we live in, and one that I never expected. I would be asking mischief questions like, what are people for? That's a tough question.
Just
That's a
chilling.
hard question. Sounds like a religious question to me, but it's a real question these days, which is, what are people better than AIs at, and what are we here for anyway? So when we talk about though banking and controls, when we talk about controls, we think about human in the loop. What's the role of a human in a production cycle where we have, AI agents acting? So when we think about human in the loop, we think about what is the role of a person in regulating the autonomy that we give to an agent. Going back to the example again of autonomous vehicles, you think
Yeah.
about there's someone sitting in a room, with a camera, and at the same time, that your autonomous car is driving, they're watching through that, and if there's a problem, they're going to override, and so on. That same mode exists in the governance of agentic
Yeah.
AI. If there's a payment that's going through, what's the role of a human being in order to screen that or finally authorize that payment? The challenge that we have, and perhaps it's the same challenge I think it is with autonomous vehicles, is it's just too much for a person to handle.
Yeah.
If backseat driving an autonomous car, or backseat overseeing every single payments when thousands, tens of thousands, millions of payments are being made, it just doesn't scale. Conceptually, the idea that you want to have someone, a human in the loop, that is a human overseeing, absolutely makes sense. We don't want to delegate, and we can't, machines never can be accountable. I mean, you can turn them off, but that's all you can do. You can say, Claude, or ChatGPT, you were bad, and then they say nice things back and they apologize. That doesn't get you anywhere. We need, there has to be human accountability around meaningful decisions. But the way that human in the loop works needs to change given the scale of decision making. And I think the way that happens, which is really pretty familiar, is that humans go from reviewing and authorizing decisions instead to reviewing and authorizing systems. Just like I would think of on an assembly line, a human doesn't inspect every piece. They inspect the system of production, and then they sample from, the output. There are red flags, and maybe the production line stops because
Yeah.
something, is out of tolerance. So I think a critical thing for us to figure out in this suite of controls around AI, and especially agentic AI, is what is the role of person. And that's what I would essentially get to, which is we can't have humans rubber stamping, backseat driving everything. Instead, we need them as system controllers, designers, and reviewers.
That's very interesting. And I just want to say a very big thank you for the new information that I myself actually discovered on this call. And there's a lot of them. One of which is, of course, the memory leakage from LLMs. That's very interesting.